What's up, guys? Welcome to a special edition of Bet the Day. We usually are at 10 a.m. every single morning, but we're talking Indy 500 betting. I'm here with my father, Jim Kern, little IndyCar analyst over at Open Wheel Report, host of the Open Wheel Report podcast. Thanks for joining me. Excited for Indy this weekend?
Absolutely.
Looking
forward to it. Can't wait. It's gone quick.
It's gone quick. It feels like we were just there last year covering it, so it should be a good time this weekend. Last year we saw Elio obviously win his fourth, which was pretty special.
It was amazing.
Yeah,
it was an amazing race. Although nobody would have thought he would have won at starting in the 27th position last year.
Yeah, now Elio obviously is going to be in the starting grid this weekend, so very excited about that. He could win his fifth. That's a storyline going into it this weekend. Obviously, nobody has won five. What do you see from Elio this weekend to start? I mean, that's obviously a storyline we got to cover.
Well, he's kind of struggled so far. His teammate Simon Pagenaud, came over from Penske last year, and he's actually kind of outshined him. But I mean, I think Elio's a race day guy, so I think he is definitely going to be on, and it's exciting.
Yeah. Now the thing about Elio is he climbs the fence after he wins, so we're hoping for that, so I can climb the fence and get it on TikTok. But we'll see about that. But anyways, you got a little rich history at the Indy 500. You've been going since you're a little kid. We got to talk about that. We talked about it on last year's preview show. The people love it. The people want to hear about it again. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your Indy 500 history.
Well, I started in 1966 to visit the track. We moved to Indiana and lived in Indiana for a couple of years, and was fortunate enough to go to time trials in 1967 and also to go to a portion of the race in 67 because there was a rain delay, and unfortunately they had it on the second day, which was a school day. So they used to have it on Monday of Memorial Day weekend, not Sunday. So that was the first. And then took a while, went to 89, 90, and 91 in person. And then took a many-year hiatus until last year. So, but I've followed it my entire life, and really excited to go back again, especially with my son. So
yeah,
should be good.
We had a blast last year. There's nothing like you walk in there. It's a special place for sure. So I can't wait to see what it looks like this year again, and then play some bets and win some bets. So we're going to talk betting lines here in a minute. We're just going to talk general race talk a little bit. But first of all, Colton Herta took a spill today. I think that's a storyline going into it. Not that we thought Colton Herta was going to be a factor from the back of the pack. Obviously, he's starting in row 9, but that was a scary spill today, and that's something that anything can happen in this race.
Well, he apparently got into some He got loose for some bad air. He was following Takuma Sato into turn 1, and had actually pretty bad spill. Pretty much destroyed the car. He's got to start in a backup car. They've got a lot of prep to do to get it ready, but it's going to be interesting because he came in off of a win with the Indy Grand Prix. He did not have a very good qualifying effort. They had to make an engine change. He was not as fast. He wasn't the fastest Andretti car last weekend, but he's a racer. I think the problem with Colton Herta, as you know, is it's win or crash. And unfortunately, starting in the back of the pack, he's going to charge probably as quickly as he can to the front. So hopefully he can stay clean and get up in the front.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, we went to Nashville last year. We saw Colton. Obviously, he dominated all weekend. That was a race he should have won. And then he crashed instead of just finishing the race. Scott Dixon got the pole. That's a prime example of a guy who just finishes races. Like, he's not going to be too aggressive. He's going to finish. I think that's a style that Colton Herta really needs to adapt because, as we know, he crashed a little too much. Same thing with the young guys. All the young guys are like that.
Yeah, I mean, you got a 22, 23-year-old versus a 41-year-old in Scott Dixon. So, patience is a virtue that you potentially have to learn over time. So, but Dixon, on the pole for the 5th time, broke a 4-way tie for 4 poles. So it's actually going to be quite good. That he's back on the pole, although it was just like last year.
Yeah, just like he had an early exit last year, if I remember correctly.
Well, he didn't. He actually struggled right away.
Yeah.
So he really, I don't even know if he led a lap. He didn't lead the first.
No,
lap.
Remember he was right into the pits before they were out for the pace laps, and he went into the pits. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember? Right. Yeah. So that was interesting last year. We had Scott Dixon. I'm sure we had a few bets on Scott Dixon last year. We bet Colton Herta. We went big on Colton Herta. And then he kind of disappeared mid-race. Like, he was doing well. He was pushing. He was making charges. And then he just disappeared. And that's the thing about this race. Anyone can win. Like a guy like Takuma Sato, if a few things would have went his way last year, a couple caution flag came out at a different time, he would have won the race.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, there's so many good drivers in the race, and the cars are, for the most part, are identical cars. Obviously, from a chassis perspective, the engines are different. You've got, Honda engines and you've got Chevrolet engines, but, both have been strong. Some teams are a little stronger than others so far this year. So it'll actually be interesting. But you know what? Just about anybody could win that race.
Yeah.
Honest. It's, I don't even think you can limit it to 10 drivers. I think, you've got 15, 20 drivers that are all capable of winning that race, depending on how things go. And, it's a long race. It's 200 laps. Race has to come to you. And, as most of the race drivers say, that win it, it's their day. Everything kind of has to happen perfectly. Perfect pit stops, luck out in the field, fast car, stay out of trouble, and you potentially get to victory lane. Drink that milk.
Yeah, there you go. Drink the milk.
Drink the milk.
And that's what makes it tough from a betting perspective, at least to hit on the right driver. So we're gonna give you some strategies at the end here to find the right picks to profit during the Indy 500. Because I think race betting is one of the toughest things to do, whether it's F1, NASCAR, or IndyCar. Now, IndyCar lines aren't widely available. They're huge this weekend, obviously, for the Indy 500. So it can be challenging to navigate it from a betting perspective. So I think the biggest storyline this weekend, outside of what we've seen so far with like a Herta or, what we've seen with Scott Dixon getting the pole again, I think it's the Penske 50th anniversary, right?
It is the 50th anniversary of Penske's first win at the Speedway. They've had 18 wins, which is amazing. And in fact, I remember specifically riding around in the car because the race used to not be broadcast live during the day. It was always run at night on ABC.
In Indiana or just in general?
Everywhere. Yeah, it didn't go live until probably the mid '80s.
Yeah.
But we were riding around Pennsylvania with my dad, listening to the 1972 race. Gary Bentonhausen, which was a Penske driver, also led a bulk of the race, and then Mark Donohue, who was driving for Penske. I think he only led like 18 laps, and at the end, but he led the one lap that counted.
Yeah.
Roger's been obviously a mainstay at the track, the winningest driver or winningest car owner, and he owns the track today. So it's really a Penske powerhouse. So.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of something you look at betting too. You might want to be high on the Penske cars just because of the anniversary there. Now, row 4, row 5, we look at the two main Penske drivers. I think, you got Will Power starting in the middle of row 4, and then you got Joseph Newgarden right behind him in the middle of row 5. Newgarden has never really raced well at the Indy 500. Power is obviously a former champ. What do you see out of these two drivers this weekend?
I think both. It really comes down to staying out of trouble. Will Power started off the last row last year, and he just struggled. He never really got up to speed.
Yeah.
Newgarden was pretty strong for part of the race, and didn't finish well. But Newgarden's one of my favorite drivers.
Yeah.
And in fact, we picked him 2 or 3 times to win last year. And in fact, 1 or 2 times we had the whole podium around Newgarden. So I think you got to look for him to be strong. He actually won the pit stop competition today. Not necessarily a prelude to winning the race, but
it means something.
It means something. They've got a lot of confidence. He's a great driver. He's won just about everything but Indy. So you're not going to lose money putting.
You might at this race.
Well, I'm just saying. Newgarden's got to be in your top 5.
Yeah.
From a betting perspective.
Yeah.
Just because he's a 2-time champion, series champion, and he's in good equipment, and he's a great driver.
And he really should have won the series last year when you really think about it. There were 3 races where his car just gave up at the end.
Right.
I mean, and Palou didn't edge him by that much when it came to the final standings there.
Well, it was close, but first race he actually was coming from the back, and he got in trouble, and you got to finish races.
Yeah.
So
got to finish races. That's what it comes down to. You got to finish races. So, I mean, out of Will Power or Joseph Newgarden, knowing Will Power's former champ, who would you bet on out of those two if you had to pick one to win? Now, we're going to sprinkle with some podiums and some top 5s, obviously.
Well, Power's been strong all season.
Yeah.
He's I think he's sitting in 4th place, 3rd place in the standings. I forget, actually. Yeah. But he's been very strong. I don't think he had a podium, but I think he's gotten like fourth place like 3 times. So I love Newgarden. I think Power potentially has a stronger day.
Yeah.
But then you've also got Scott McLaughlin, who's back in the pack a little bit more, but also has had a good month coming in to qualifying. He just got caught out on some of the qualifying strategies last weekend. So, but I would probably take Power over Newgarden from a betting perspective. But again, my heart's with Newgarden, my favorite driver.
Your favorite driver?
Yeah, I think so.
Favorite driver? I thought you like Romain Grosjean.
Well, I like Romain Grosjean too, but
he's going to crash. He will definitely crash.
He's the thing.
Don't bet on Grosjean.
The thing is about Grosjean is he was not expected to be the number one Andretti driver in qualifications, and he is the only one that made it into the top 12, the Fast 12, and just missed out on the top 6. But he's been hanging it out a lot. He's almost hit the wall a number of times during practice, and qualifying run was relatively clean. But he's also had some complaints from drivers, being a little too aggressive. So you can't be overly aggressive in this track because you
can't be over aggressive too early. It's a long race.
Well, you can't even be overly aggressive, because you gotta be steady.
Yeah. It's amazing he's still like such a aggressive driver, even after killing himself, or almost killing himself. I mean, everyone's seen the Drive to Survive Formula One series. It's amazing.
It is amazing, but he's definitely an aggressive driver, and he said even earlier in the season that he's not changing his style.
No,
he's 36 years old, and he's going to continue to push. But again, he's in equipment. He's the top Andretti driver for the race at this point. So it'll be interesting to see where he ends up.
Yeah.
So,
and I think we got to talk about Jimmie Johnson right now. Row 4, outside of row 4, 231 mile an hour average speed. The ovals favor him. He's done it his whole career. Well, obviously, we've seen it. He's been much stronger on ovals than road courses because he's going back to his NASCAR roots a little bit, even though you can't bump and run and all that, but still.
Jimmie Johnson has been a very pleasant surprise. I mean, he's not done really well.
We thought he was going to struggle. Well, no, he's been good in the oval.
Well, it's only one oval,
so but he's been good in qualifying.
Yeah, he's had a strong month. I mean, he made it into the top 12. I mean, he's had some really, really good runs. But during his qualifying run in the Fast 6, he actually almost tagged a wall and corrected it. But actually, I'm sorry, in the Fast 12, he didn't make the Fast 6. But starts on the outside of row 4. It's a great. All 5 Ganassi drivers made it into the Fast 12.
Yeah,
they've been strong really the entire month. So you can't count any of those drivers out from being there at the end.
Yeah. I mean, it should be an interesting race with the top 12, but again, everyone can win this race. I mean, what do you think what's the farthest back someone's won at?
27.
So there's 33 drivers in the race, 27. So it's pretty much anyone's race. Now, row 9, Helio Castroneves with Colton Herta back there. They could get into a lot of trouble back there because you got the aggressive Herta. You got a lot of stuff that could happen in front of you, but you're far enough up from like a Romain Grosjean where you can kind of navigate if he gets into trouble and maybe take advantage of something.
Yeah. It's luck.
It's all luck.
It's luck. In fact, the 30th might be the
best place to start.
No, the 30th position may have been the top
finisher
for the furthest back. It's either 27 or 30, but I know the 33rd position's finished second, which is amazing. Nobody's ever won from the 32nd or for the 33rd position. But you've got great drivers. I mean, you've got a 2-time champion sitting in row 10 with Juan Pablo Montoya. He's in good equipment. He's in the McLaren car, and quite frankly, had a pretty good month going for himself. So you've got 8 former champions in the race, led by Helio. But I think you're in a situation where this year, especially, 33 cars was a struggle. They were only going to be at 32 cars. They were actually able to get a 33rd car in. No bumping. The only bumping that was done was in the Fast 12 and the Fast 6. But it was an exciting qualifying effort. You've got the fastest front row in the history of the race. And Scott Dixon is the second fastest qualifier ever in the Indy 500, only beat out by in I think 1996 by Ari Lendyke. So Ari Lendyke, 236 miles an hour. So Scott Dixon qualified over 234 miles an hour. So it's been it really is a fast year. I don't know the full field speed average where that falls, but it's got to be up there.
Yeah, so I think one of the most interesting parts of the starting grid is Pato O'Ward starting in row 3 inside, and then Felix is in the middle there. So you got 2 Air McLaren teammates. They could work together a little bit.
They could.
That's an interesting spot. That's an advantage having your teammate right next to you for sure.
It is, but again, they're both racing hard. Pato's a hard racer. He's a hard charger. He's had a good season. It's going to be really, really, interesting. I mean, even in the, the warm-ups today for Carb Day, Tony Kanaan was leading. I think Ganassi had 3 out of the top 4 cars in the run. But again, they're race setups, not necessarily, they're not qualifying setups anymore. Yeah. And some of the guys earlier in the qualifying didn't have the car for the qualifying speed, but they were actually working on their race setup. So, it's an entirely different race with a race setup versus a qualifying setup. So it should be good. All
right, let's talk about some betting stuff. So, we're on DraftKings right now. DraftKings, FanDuel, Caesars, BetMGM, Barstool. Pretty much every book has lines for this. PointsBet. PointsBet's huge for IndyCar because it's the official sponsor, NBC. NBC works with PointsBet, obviously. So DraftKings yesterday had a lot of group winners. They had a lot of head-to-head matchups. They've taken a lot off. I'm sure they'll add more as we get closer to Sunday. But they have 2 group winner, prop bets right now. So the first is Pato O'Ward at plus 200, Joseph Newgarden at plus 250, Rinus VeeKay at plus 280, and Will Power at plus 350. Out of those 4, who would you take?
I would take Pato.
Pato?
Yes.
Pato. I think Will Power could have some value there at plus 350.
Yeah, but I think from a strength position, Pato, young driver, aggressive driver, great on ovals. He's had a good year so far. I think he's been on the podium 2, possibly 3 times.
Yeah.
So I do like Pato, depending on how the team works out. So.
And then Group C, so they took off Group B, Group D, but Group C, Simon Pagenaud plus 260, Felix Rosenqvist plus 260, Alexander Rossi plus 260, and then Romain Grosjean plus 270. Out of all these, I just wouldn't bet on Romain Grosjean. I think this is easy. It's like a 3 group almost because Grosjean's going to crash at some point.
Well, you never know.
You never know.
You never know. I mean, I think that there's potential that he's going to go out early, but you just don't know. It's hard to say. That's a group that you may not want to lose your money on.
You may not want to lose your money on that. So, my biggest tip when it comes to Indy 500 betting, because if you go in and you look at the, to win, to podium, to finish in the top 5, it can be a little overwhelming. Playing the head-to-head matchups, parlaying the head-to-head matchups can be very, very good. Now, obviously, there's some tough calls in there.
Right.
But like when we were looking at the head-to-heads yesterday, they've since taken them off. You can make some good money doing head-to-head matchups because, the favorite's going to be at minus 130, minus 140. Usually the underdog's going to be at plus 110. So either way, juice value there for the favorite is still pretty good. Now, when we look at the, the main lines here, Scott Dixon's plus 550 to win. I would not take a first, the pole winner to win the race. I just wouldn't do it.
The pole winners won the race, many times. I mean,
I wouldn't take it though. I don't like it.
Well, it really comes down to race setup. I mean, I like Alex Blow
to win the race.
I like Alex Blow to win the race. I mean, if I had to put my money on anybody, I would put it on him.
Yeah.
Smooth driver. He is aggressive, but not overly aggressive. He's defending champion in the series. He knows how to finish races, and he's in a great team. He's been strong really all month, and he just missed out on the pole. So I like Palou to win. He came in second last year. He is going to be an Indy 500 champion. He's just too good not to.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is it this year or is it next year?
So you can get Pelot to win at plus 600. A top three for him's plus 160 there. So a $100 wager would win 160, pay out 260. Top five finish minus 140. So a little juice there. But the good thing about this is, Dixon and Pelot to finish top five minus 140. Those are pretty juicy. You got to put down 140 to win 100. But the next is Pato Award to be top five plus 100 there. So you double your money no matter what. You don't have to pay anything to the house. So you got to love that there. New Gardens, talk about him to win at plus 1,200, top three finish at plus 300, and then top five at plus 140. Kind of shows bookmakers don't really respect him on this track.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's not a bad $5 bet.
$5, you're not winning it. You're $5 on, $5 on plus 1,200, you'd win something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I do like him in the top five though. I think that's a nice bet. But ultimately, look at what happened in the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah. You look at what happened in the Kentucky Derby. Anyone can win this race.
Anybody can win the race, So what? Throwing a little bit of coin down on a couple long shots, probably not a bad idea.
Well, let me read you some long shots here. Dalton Kellett plus 20,000.
Will not win the race.
Stephen Wilson plus 20,000.
Will not win the race.
Callum Elott plus 10,000.
Will not win the race. I really don't see. You've got to.
Those are the equivalents of the horse, though.
Yeah, but you've got a little bit of different situation here. You've got a rookie driver.
Yeah.
And you've got them on good teams, but not the top teams.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that you've got to look at. You've got, Roman Grosjean is a rookie for this race, and you've got Jimmy Johnson, who's a rookie in this race. But both got a tremendous amount of experience, where the other rookies are younger, younger guys that haven't really experienced this yet. So, but Elott's been strong. Actually, he's actually done really well this year. He's run near the the front. It's really hard to say, but you've got just so many great drivers in this race, so it could be a lot of it is pit strategy, and it's going to be a hot day too. That's the other thing,
which is going to cause more crashes.
Well, potentially cause more crashes. It's going to cause more tire wear. That's for sure. You're going to have to be more efficient on your tire selection. I've seen in the past where tires go away, cars running great, tires start going away, and then you're in trouble to do that. And the other thing is, it's just going to be hot. It's going to be a hot day. You're talking about 88, 90 degrees, sunny.
It's going to be hot for us in the stands.
It's going to be hot, but it's better than rain. So.
Yeah. So, long shots, let's look at some realistic long shots here. I think Kyle Kirkwood's probably the most realistic long shot at plus 10,000 out of Lundgaard, Kirkwood, DeFrancesco, and Jack Harvey. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. Yeah. I think Kirkwood's in great equipment with AJ Foyt. He ran pretty strong the other oval. He was actually moved up to the top 10 before he tagged a wall. But he's Indy Lights champions, won in every series so far, and look for him to actually run strong. Although he's starting in row 10. So
now $5 on him to win it would pay out $505.
Well, it's not a bad $5 bet.
It's not a bad $5 bet. I think there's better $5 bets on the board, obviously. Yeah. Now, if you want to go all in on Kyle Kirkwood, say you put $100 down on him, it'd pay out $10,000. So that just shows. Usually, when it's like that, it means they're probably not going to win. But this is racing; anything can happen. Even the favorite, is plus 550. So that just shows you anything can happen in racing.
Right.
Let's keep going up the board here. Connor Daley at plus 5,000. He ran strong last year. The people love Connor Daley there. What do you see?
He was actually run strong. He moved up and led the race. He unfortunately ran into the tire of Graham Rahal.
Yeah.
Knocked the nose out last year, and then his day was pretty much done, even though he finished the race. But I do like him, and he's an Indiana native. Father was a race driver, and he's in good equipment. He's in Carpenter's. Ed Carpenter's equipment. You've got two. Basically Ed Carpenter and Renus and right up there. So Connor Daley knows how to race, and I'm sure he's looking to have a good good day. So not a bad long shot.
Now, I think Takuma Sato is probably the most. He's not really a long shot. He's plus 1,600, but he's a realistic winner in this race. I think we don't want him to win. We're not a big Sato guy.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's going to be right up there in the mix because last year he came out of nowhere. He's won it multiple times.
He knows how to finish.
He knows how to finish races. He's never in it till the end, but he knows how to finish races.
And he's in good equipment. I mean, he changed teams this year. Went from Ray Hall over to Dale Coyne. He actually took Romain Grosjean's seat, from last year, and he's been fast. I mean, I think he was third fastest in the practice today for Carb Day, and you've got a former winner. You got a two-time champion, Sato. So. We're not big fans, but he definitely knows how to win.
Yeah.
Any 500 champion knows how to win.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy looking at these odds. You look at like Jimmy Johnson. Not that he raced in this race last year, but overall he was plus 50,000 pretty much every race last year. Now in the Indy 500, he's only plus 1,600. He's in the top. Top 10 in Vegas. So they see something out of him this week.
Well, I think they see something out of him because he's raced on this track before in a NASCAR. He's had a really strong month and he's in great equipment. The other thing you got to look at is, he's 45 years old too. So it takes a lot
of risks.
Well, he knows how to race. I mean, Helio's in his mid 40s also, and he won last year. So I think you've just got a situation where you need luck, you need a fast car, you need great pit stops, you need to stay out of trouble.
Yeah,
I mean that's really the key.
Yeah. All right. So final question here. Give me your winner and give me your podium.
All right. So the winner, my winner is Alex Palou
at plus 600 Palou to win. So if you put $100 on Palou, that would pay out 700.
Not bad.
That's what we're going to do.
Not a bad payday.
That's what we're going to do.
I like Palou to win.
Okay.
I like Power
to
podium, and I've got to take a little bit of a surprise here, but I actually want to see an Andretti car.
Okay, so
in the top three. I'm going to probably go with Rossi. A little bit of a stretch, I know.
Yeah, it's a big stretch.
It's a big stretch, but he was running strong earlier. He's not had a great year, but again, former champion, and he's in good equipment. So
now, who do you like more, Alex Palou to win or Alexander Rossi to finish in the top three? Because both are six. Palou is plus 600, Rossi's plus 650 for a top three.
I like Palou to win
more,
absolutely.
Okay, so now give me two more. Let's add the top fives in there.
I want Newgarden in the top five.
Okay, so you got Newgarden top five.
I got Newgarden top five.
The odds there are just Newgarden to finish top five plus 140. Then give me one more.
One more, huh?
Yeah.
It's going to be a stretch too. But actually, I like Santino Ferrucci.
Okay.
He finished seventh last year.
Quiet seventh.
Quiet seventh.
Plus 700 for Ferrucci to finish top five.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, so I'm gonna take a screenshot of that. Obviously, we'll be betting this stuff, but I'll take the screenshot of that, and we will see. We will see how you do. Okay, so for me, I'm going to go. I do like Palou up there to win. Overall, though, I think I'm going to take Power to win. I think Will Power gets the job done. And these could change as we approach race day, too. I think Palou's in the top three, and then I like Sato to finish in the top three. So Power, Palou, Sato for a top three. For a top five, I got to go with Newgarden just because he's our guy, right? And then it wouldn't surprise me if, Ed Carpenter's in the top five in this race.
Could be.
I think he could be.
He's finished up there before. I mean,
he's fast right now.
What about your boy Herta?
Nah, Herd's done.
He's done. Huh?
He's done. I'm all Newgarden after this. I'm not wearing the Herta jersey this weekend.
Okay.
I'll wear this tomorrow. Going there, but then on Sunday I'm all going to be Joseph Newgarden.
All right.
All right.
That
So
sense.
what are you most looking forward to?
I'm just looking for a safe, clean race. Last year
It was best. It was great.
pretty clean race, and I really don't want to see Spider-Man jump on the fence.
I wouldn't mind seeing that.
I mean, he's in an elite club with AJ Foyt, Al Unser Sr., and
you're
Rick
old
Mears.
school. You don't want to see him pass your guys.
Nah, I really don't. I mean, Helio, he's a great driver. And, wish him all the best, but I really don't want to see him climb the fence and be in the elite club by himself.
I wouldn't mind if we bet him. I mean, $25 on him would pay out $725.
Yeah. Well, it's a good bet.
It's a good bet.
It's a good bet.
Yeah, it's a good bet. So we'll see what happens there. I'm looking forward to it. It should be a lot of fun. Early travel day tomorrow. We'll be at the Indy 500. We'll be doing interviews with people.
Yep.
Very excited about that.
Very excited. I'll be the cameraman.
You'll be the cameraman. You'll hold the camera. Maybe you'll hold the microphone. Maybe we'll see. But anyway, so we're very excited about that, guys. Make sure you check out Bet the Day every morning at 10 a.m. No show tomorrow. We'll be talking NBA, NHL, MLB. We'll be back on Sunday at 8 a.m. Eastern time, and then we'll be headed to the race for the 106th running of the Indy 500. So we appreciate you joining. Host of the Open Wheel Report, Jim Kern, right here.
Got to get it back in gear.
It's
been in neutral for a little while.
In neutral, but you know what? You can always resume it. So I'm very excited about that. But thanks for joining us, guys. We will see you on Sunday at the Indy 500.